Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're strapping in for, well, an emergency assessment of a major AFC contender,
The Kansas City Chief.
the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
They are staring down a really urgent, injury-driven need for some offensive reinforcement.
Mhm.
And it's led them to make what I think is one of the most fascinating high-risk moves of the season.
It really is. They signed a player with a huge ceiling, but who has also had, one of the steepest and most baffling collapses we've seen in recent NFL memory.
It is the ultimate move born out of necessity.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to analyze this tactical crisis they're facing. Why were they essentially forced to bring in a new weapon for Patrick Mahomes?
And more than that, we need to peel back the layers on Dameon Pierce himself. This is a massive opportunity for him to resurrect a career under, well, the brightest spotlight there is.
Right. And we know exactly what's fueling all this.
It all starts with Isiah Pacheco. He has an MCL sprain, and the source material we have confirms he's already missed 3 straight games.
And that's not just a stat. That's a cultural hole in their offense. He brings an aggression, a vision.
The intensity, the whole unit feeds off that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that absence has just pushed their running back room, which was already a little stressed, right past its breaking point.
So when you lose your primary hammer, the backups, it's not just about getting more carries, is it?
No, not at all. They have to replicate a style of play that they just aren't suited for. The team is truly bleeding for consistent help.
Okay, so let's stop there and really unpack that. The sources are pretty blunt, they say. The solutions so far have been ineffective. What's the tactical failure there? Because ineffective can mean a lot of things.
It does. Let's start with the style clash. They've been leaning pretty heavily on Kareem Hunt.
A solid veteran.
Totally. Reliable, capable. But the coaching staff, they realize he can't handle the entire workload alone. His running style, it just might lack that pure explosive burst that Andy Reid's offense really demands for certain plays.
He's more of a grinder now.
At this stage, yeah. He's not that big play threat they need to complement Mahomes in the passing game.
So what about the younger guys they tried to plug in?
That's where you can really see the frustration. They brought in the rookie, Brashard Smith, but the analysis suggests he just hasn't earned the trust of the coaching staff.
The quote is, still not doing enough.
Right. And in a complex championship-level system like the Chiefs, you know what that usually means.
Ball security and pass protection.
100% pass protection.
Okay.
If you can't consistently protect Patrick Mahomes, you will not see the field, period.
The rookie mistake factor is just too high when you're protecting a $500 million quarterback.
Of course. And they also tried cycling through others like Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Elijah Mitchell.
But again, the sources just say it was insufficient.
Exactly. Edwards-Helaire, he's been inconsistent with his vision and explosiveness. Mitchell brings some physicality, but he's never been able to stay healthy enough to really get a rhythm in the system.
So the bottom line is,
The bottom line is the collective effort just isn't working. It's not giving them that reliable dual threat impact that Pacheco brings. So the Chiefs, they need any possible injection of impact they can get. And this move for Pierce is welcomed purely out of desperate necessity.
which brings us right to Dameon Pierce. You said high risk, high reward, and frankly, I think his career makes him one of the most compelling and just confounding studies in the league right now.
The sources even call it one of the weirdest cases in recent memory.
And what's so fascinating is just the sheer velocity of his rise and then his fall. It's a jarring paradox.
Totally. You look at his rookie year, he was an absolute revelation. He put up over 1,100 scrimmage yards.
1,100.
Yeah, that's a threshold that signals a cornerstone player. He was a legitimate threat right out of the gate.
A season like that should set you up for years of success, especially for a young running back who runs with that kind of authority. But then, he just ceased to exist on the field.
He vanished. Poof. Gone. After that stellar season, he just lost all his spotlight. He slipped and slipped down the Texans' depth chart until he was just, well, completely out of their plans.
And the critical detail here, which really underscores how desperate the Chiefs are,
is that he had literally no snaps for Houston lately. He went from being a focal point to a healthy scratch on a non-contender's offense.
So wait, this is the tension, right? Isn't signing a player who went from 1,100 yards to 0 snaps the literal definition of desperation? What if the problem wasn't the system in Houston, but something with Pierce himself?
And that is the crucial question. That's the bet the Chiefs are making. They are assuming the decline was a system-level failure, not a talent failure.
Well, the Texans did have a scheme change, coaching changes.
They did. And Pierce's physical, powerful running style, he's a thud runner. It might have been a really poor fit for a new system that wanted, say, outside zone runs or speed-based pass-catching backs.
So the Chiefs are just gambling that their need for him, that they need him badly, it just overrides all that concern about why he was invisible.
It seems so. And the urgency is so acute they signed him to the practice squad at first. It seems like a small move, but the motivation behind it is massive.
Which raises the question, what specific things do the Chiefs see in him right now that they believe can solve their problems immediately?
Well, it boils down to two specific, pretty powerful dynamics.
Okay.
The first, and the most obvious one, is that injection of speed. We talked about how the Chiefs' backups have been ineffective at creating those big plays.
So how does Pierce solve that? It's not just about a 40-yard dash time straight.
Yeah.
It's functional speed.
Exactly. It's about lateral acceleration, hitting that second level fast. Pierce, despite his size, has that burst. The team had been trying to find that home run threat, but inefficiently. Pierce, when he was on, was excellent at forcing missed tackles and just exploding through the hole. He could absolutely provide some speed that elevates their outside runs and, crucially, their screen game.
Which is a hallmark of Reed's offense.
The hallmark. And that burst matters so much when Mahomes is on the field. The defense is already spread thin, so a back who can accelerate quickly is just deadly.
It forces linebackers into impossible choices.
Totally. They have to respect the deep ball, which lightens the box, fewer bodies to account for. If the back is slow, you lose that advantage. If the back is quick, like a productive Pierce, it's a massive gain. Instantly, it unlocks the entire offense.
Okay, so that covers the immediate offensive need. But the source material, it highlights this secondary, almost hidden value that makes him a really strategic signing.
Yes, and that secondary value is special teams. It's a vital part of maximizing a roster spot that often gets overlooked.
And he has experience there.
Significant experience as a returner. He's not just a placeholder. He's, and I'm quoting, a pretty good one, actually, and we've got the evidence.
Oh.
Career returns of 98 yards and 80 yards already on his record.
Wow, 98 and 80 yards. That's game-breaking acceleration on full display.
So you're not just getting a desperation running back. You're getting a guy who potentially solves a speed problem on offense and provides special teams utility.
It's just highly efficient roster management.
It's grabbing two birds with one stone. They deepen a unit that's become more and more important, and it just significantly reduces the risk of the whole gamble.
And as we look at his path to revival, maybe the most encouraging thing is just his age. Dameon Pierce is only 25 years old.
It's astonishingly young for a running back who's already seen so much. This isn't some vet trying to squeeze out one last season.
No, he still has plenty of time to redevelop into a really productive player.
Exactly. This is a mid-career recalibration. He's not worn down. The talent is clearly there. And you really couldn't ask for a better environment to attempt that kind of turnaround.
And this is where it gets really, really interesting. You take this player, proven talent, but who completely bottomed out, and you drop him into the most explosive, most optimized offensive structure in the league.
You've got Andy Reid designing the plays. You have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback.
It's the ultimate offensive incubator.
It is. The structure itself is the safety net. The pressure on Pierce to be the guy is zero. His job is to just execute his task in all the space they create for him.
He'll be running against later fronts.
Always. The deep threats, Travis Kelce, the receivers, they force defenses to spread out. He'll have fewer bodies to beat, which just maximizes his strengths.
So this situation gives him, and I'm quoting again, the best opportunity to create buzz around his name once again.
This is a career lifeline for him. It's a reputation boost just by being in the building.
It really is a supremely high-stakes opportunity for both sides.
It is. For the Chiefs, they're gambling that the environment cures the slump. For Pierce, this is potentially the final, best chance to prove that his rookie year was the real him.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We started with the Chiefs' injury crisis, Pacheco's MCL sprain, and that crisis just instantly created this massive, unexpected opportunity for a player whose career had just, well, stalled out.
Yeah. Dameon Pierce, a 25-year-old former 1,100-yard back, is now the high-upside gamble for a contender that is desperate for speed and impact.
And this whole thing just highlights how quickly an opportunity can be manufactured in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. An injury over here suddenly pulls a player labeled one of the weirdest cases right back into the spotlight. The speed of the Chiefs' need and the dual dynamics Pierce brings, that speed and special teams value, made him an irresistible, low-cost solution.
And here's the final provocative thought for you to chew on. If Dameon Pierce succeeds in Kansas City, does this fundamentally prove that context, specifically the structure of the Reid and Mahomes system, is a greater factor than a player's own talent in reviving a career that had been completely derailed?
That's the question. If he finds success quickly, it becomes the ultimate test case for system fit over everything else. Was the slump in Houston really about deteriorating talent, or was it just a context where his strengths couldn't possibly function? His performance in KC will give us the definitive answer.
It's a fascinating experiment unfolding in real time. We'll be watching closely. That's all for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.